What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. David Enderle back. Second video this week. Mark it down. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Today I thought it'd be fun to do a different kind of video, one that I see a lot of YouTuber, photographer, storytelling, video making type about what's in their camera bag. And I realized that might be fun to go over. And it also proves a point that to make good content, any content at all, you don't have to have a bunch of top-notch gear. It certainly can help. Like, I would love to have a bunch of $5,000 or $10,000 lenses and a Red Monstro, 8K, 6K, cinema cameras, but I don't have that kind of money. But I do have a nice Canon 80D with some pretty nice lenses. A couple of them come with the camera, and then I went out and separately and bought some other lenses. So we are going to go over what I use to shoot these videos. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not, as always, thanks for coming back. And let's jump into it. Alright, to start things off, and if the light is in and out on this side, I'm by a window. As you can tell, I'm not in the normal studio space. When I'm at home, I like to shoot in, and I'm sitting in this really nifty birdcage chair. It's hung by a chain. You just sit and kind of swing. It's nice. But yeah, the sun is in and out, so it might get bright, might not. And I got a light over here. So to start things off, the main thing that I use to shoot these videos is a Canon 80D. 80. I always feel like I'm saying ADD, like attention deficit disorder, when I say that really fast. ADD. It's an 80D. It's a Canon. It's a beast. It's a CMOS sensor. It's a crop sensor. So that's one thing. If you're thinking about buying a new camera, you should consider full frame versus crop. There's nothing wrong with crop. My ADD is the first major camera purchase. You can get them for about $1,000 with no lens. Just the body's about $1,000, and it has a nice flip out screen. It does really well in low light. I can pretty much pump up the ISO to some pretty substantially high numbers, and it takes a lot before the pictures or the images get really grainy. But I love this camera. It can shoot 60 FPS at full high def. It is not 4K, which if 4K is super important to you, Canon just come out with a 90D not too long ago, and it shoots 4K. This doesn't shoot 4K. Didn't really bother me at all. Honestly, if I really want 4K footage, I have an iPhone XR, and the 4K footage on that is pretty nice. So yeah, this is a beast of a camera. It's 24.2 or 24.6 megapixels. It shoots awesome still photos. I absolutely love this camera. Now, as for lenses, what I shoot with most of the time, what I'm shooting on right now, is the EFS 18-55 3.5. I think this is what's considered their kit lens. Yeah, it might be a cheaper lens, but I use it for a lot of things. I really like the focal lengths on it. 3.5 doesn't not exactly the widest opening, versus a 1.8 or 1.4. It actually came with my camera, and I really have no complaints. It's a great, pretty versatile lens. The next lens is one that I went out and purchased separately. I used, especially when I first got this thing, I used it a ton. It is the 50mm 1.8. This is a fixed lens. It does open up to 1.8. Now keep in mind, when you buy something like a 50mm lens and you're using the camera with a crop sensor, it is going to be super wide. Because I have a crop sensor, whatever it is that your lens is that you're shooting on, like this is a 50, In reality, it's going to shoot more like an 85 millimeter. Still, this thing is tack sharp. It was like either $150 or $125. Opens up all the way to 1.8. Awesome in low light conditions. Super sharp, inexpensive. Don't have any complaints other than the fact that if you're not shooting full frame, everything is going to be really close and it's going to be really wide. So it's really good for if you're doing landscape photography. I tried to shoot portraits with it one time in a church. It was not going to happen. So this is super wide if you're using crop sensor. If not, you're good to go. The next lens that I bought separately is the Canon EFS 24 millimeter. This is a 2.8, so pretty decent in low light. And again, since this is crop censored camera, when I shoot with the 24 mil, it's more like a 50 mil. I use this lens more than anything. When I'm out doing photography, doing landscape, the 24 is hands down the lens I use the most. 2.8, pretty decent low light, pretty sharp. I have no complaints. It's really good. You can use it even for vlogging. If you're holding up your camera out, it's not so wide that you can't get your whole face in the shot, and then some of your upper body. Really great lens. I only paid $119 for this, I think, brand new. So it's really super affordable. Just a great versatile lens overall. And lastly, a lens that I don't use that often. It is the EFS 55 to 250 mil. This is really good and it zooms out extremely far. It is not really super good for low light. The lowest you're gonna get this to go to is 5.6. So you're definitely gonna need to make sure if you're shooting a video or you're taking still photos, you're definitely going to need to have light, whether it's outside natural light. So make sure if you're going out to do portraits or landscape, you have plenty of daylight. And if you're doing inside, overhead lights, studio lights, whatever it is. Still, I do really like this lens. I just recently posted a picture of the moon, and it was the super moon of 2020, and I had the 55-250 fully extended out. Had to pump up the ISO a little bit, but the picture still turned out really good, and I really don't have any complaints about this lens. It extends out. I mean, it really, it's a good deal, and that sounds nice. Fortunately, I used to have what I called my B camera that I would use to vlog, and I've used my Canon I'm using now to do the stills. This is the original EOS M. One of two things happened to this. One, either the battery is fried, or two, water got into the camera itself is cooked. Luckily, I bought this off KEH. It's been a couple years. I got it for 150 bucks. It was in great condition. It did take an adapter so I could hook a EFS lens up to it. But like I said, this is the original EOS M. To be honest with you, I don't know a lot of the specs. At the time, it was all I could afford, but I wanted a DSLR. It did the job. It still does the job now. I still have some different things to try to see if it's actually just the camera or if it's the battery. I really hope it's just the batteries. That's a cheap fix. If it's the camera, I'd probably use my cell phone as a B camera for a while. But I still like this. It doesn't have a flip out screen or anything, but still just a nice backup camera that was fairly inexpensive. As what I use for sound, guys, I use a Rode VideoMic Go. Not much to say about the microphone. It's pretty straightforward. Plug it in, hook it up to your hot shoe, and that's pretty. Is it a hot shoe or a cold shoe? Hot shoe. It's a hot shoe. Screw it into the hot shoe, plug it in the back, plug it into the side of your camera, and it's good to go. Never had any problems with it. It comes with a dead cat windscreen. I've used it out in the wind. You can still hear what I'm saying. Sounds good. Just a good microphone overall. And I also have the smaller version, Rode Video Micro. It is really small, but it's still an awesome microphone. It still sounds really good. Not really much to say about microphones. I don't really know much about microphones other than I plug them in and sound appears. Other than that, guys, not too much other things in my bag. An extra battery for the 80, which is also fried. I keep some cleaning tools. Keep one of these little fancy dusters, and I keep a little pen that's got a little brush on it. Just brush off the sensor, which be careful if you're doing that. If you mess up the sensor, that's going to be expensive. You're probably just going to have to buy a new camera. As far as my tripod, the Mercury tripod, I got it at Target. It was like $100. It's nothing super fancy. It's not like a, a Manfrotto or anything. It's not carbon fiber. It's just aluminum. But still, it's nice and sturdy. It was fairly inexpensive, and so far it's worked well. That is going to be all for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it'd be fun just to kind of show you what I make these videos with, for anybody that's wondering, and what kind of camera and lenses I use when I'm doing photography as well. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not new, thanks for coming back, and I will see you in the next one.